Hey guys, welcome back to Trendy Gadget. Today we'll talk about privacy on iPhone. Let's head into it. Apple's latest iPhone update. Apple's latest iPhone update, iOS 14.5, brings a host of new features that customers will likely see and enjoy. Better Face ID unlocking when wearing a mask, new emoji, support for PS5, and Xbox Series X controllers, and more. But the new update also adds a much more important and controversial new feature, app tracking transparency. That's Apple's name for a privacy feature that's shaping up to be the company's next big fight.
Can I lick the crumbs from your table? No, mind your own business. Why don't you?
The change has been a contentious one. Apple originally announced the feature alongside the rest of the iOS 14 last June, but has delayed the release until now to give developers more time to adapt to the changes. It's finally live though, setting the stage for what could be a massive fight between the Cupertino tech giant and competitors like Facebook. Technically, app tracking transparency alone doesn't make any seismic changes to how iOS handles ad tracking. Users have been able to opt out of IDFA-based tracking before, but the new update puts the choice front and center. It forces developers to give users a choice. Once updated to iOS 14.5, every single company that wants to track users and their data across different apps or websites now have to ask permission first using a standardized prompt created by Apple, which looks like this. If they click Ask App Not to Track, then that developer can track customers using their data in that app or sell that data to other companies, not with Apple's IDFA system and not with their own systems. Also, make sure to write your thoughts in the comment section. Reactions. App tracking transparency has been praised by groups like Electronic Frontier Foundation, which call the concept of making companies ask before they track users on the internet an obvious baseline. But not everyone likes the system, and the strongest objections to app tracking transparency have been from Facebook. It says Apple's new system will make it harder and more expensive for ad networks to easily target customers, which in turn will hurt small businesses that rely on highly targeted ad campaigns. Facebook has taken out full-page newspaper ads, contesting the changes, and argued that Apple's changes could also hurt websites that rely on lucrative targeted ads to make ends meet, forcing them to subscription services or paywalls for content that used to be free. While Facebook's main arguments appear altruistic, it's also more important to note that Facebook itself stands to lose out here, as the information explains. The kinds of ads that Apple's new rule impacts aren't a huge part of Facebook's business model. Less than 5% of Facebook's $84 billion annual ad revenue, but it's still a noticeable chunk of change, especially considering that Facebook's internal estimates reportedly expect around 80% of iOS users to opt out.
Just this week, Facebook itself suffered another breach exposing personal information for more than 500 million users.
Apple is also giving companies a chance to make their case for following ad tracking. Developers will have control over when to show Apple's prompt, specifically to give apps like Facebook, NBC News, or BBC a chance to make their case to users about why they should allow tracking. And Facebook is doing just that, with a letter to users that tries to sell them on the idea of getting more relevant advertisements and supporting small businesses.
To help you make a decision per app, I would suggest checking out the app's privacy nutrition label in the App Store.
Conclusion. Apple's prompt disables its own IFDA system on a system level, so if users turn down apps, developers can't access it. Apple says the companies are also required to respect your choice beyond the advertising identifier when it comes to other means of tracking user data, and companies that do try to sneak around the rules could be subject to the same consequences as any other developer violating App Store terms of service, up to and including having their app removed. Apple says that its apps will abide by the new rules too, as a matter of policy. The company claims that its first-party apps already don't track users across other apps and websites, which is why you won't see it appear on Apple's apps. That said, Apple does still have some tracking that it uses to serve personalized ads within the App Store, stocks, and Apple News apps. As detailed here, Apple uses information like location, keyboard language settings, device type, OS version, mobile carrier, and more to serve customers more relevant ads within its apps. It also uses account information and past purchases to lump customers into market segments to better target ads within those apps. The difference is that Apple only uses that information within its own apps, doesn't link it to additional profiles from third-party sources, and doesn't sell the data. Apple also has an additional toggle to disable the tracking. It's a major tech story in 2021. Of course, there's an antitrust concern. A group of German advertisers have already filed a complaint about the new system, and French regulators shot down an initial antitrust complaint in March, noting that the system doesn't appear to be abusive on Apple's part. Nope, apps can only request once. When you first open them after the update, developers who don't want to track you don't have to show the prompt at all. There's also global settings that lets users just opt out of all apps by default and toggling off allow apps to request to track. That menu also allows users to grant or revoke permission from apps after the initial prompt has been shown. What do you think about the new Apple tracking feature? Do you think it's good overall? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it, hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.